Order! Order! Luo ao tien, or in English, Chinese postgraduate entrance exam candidates. It's John Bercow here, former Speaker of the UK House of Commons. I am recording this cameo by way of encouragement and advice to you. That may seem extraordinarily presumptuous, but of course I do so not entirely spontaneously. That is to say, not off my own bat by virtue of my own decision or through the exercise of my own discretion. Rather, I am responding to a request. That is my excuse, and I am sticking to it. It is not that I started from the premise that I am some great sage and that I have pearls of wisdom to dispense like confetti upon your shoulders. No, it is that I have been asked to communicate with you. Last year, I recorded a cameo for Chinese postgraduate exam students, and I'm told that it got a significant number of views on Bilibili, and this is the cause of my being invited again to communicate with students. And the matter has been raised with me, or if you like, presented in the form of a suggestion that I should discuss with you what might be described as a relatively serious subject. A serious subject indeed it is, and a subject, I think, of some immediacy, that is to say, deserving of and requiring your attention as a matter of urgency. Specifically, I'm asked to discuss whether one, that is to say you, should pursue a master's degree or choose to work after obtaining your bachelor degree, Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science or whatever other initial degree you have received. Well, I think that there is no absolute answer to that question, but one has to approach it with some sense of what your individual circumstances might be and to frame an answer accordingly. I cannot make a judgment for you, and you wouldn't wish me to do so. I'm not qualified, and you wouldn't wish to put your future in the hands of a stranger. But I have got, if you like, a mode of reference or a starting point for trying to offer you my best advice, such as it is worth. First, if you know what you want to do for your career and your initial degree more than suffices, that is to say, is more than enough for you to step into and to make progress within your chosen career, and there is an opportunity for you to do that now, that is to say, you either have an offer or the prospect of offers very soon in that chosen career, which offers are appealing and give you the chance of making real progress, I think that probably makes the decision, if not completely, largely for you. There is probably real merit in, as we say in my country, taking the bull by the horns, that is to say, seizing the moment and embarking upon that chosen career, whether it be in financial services or in marketing or in industry or indeed in the pursuit of a profession, which may mean doing another course, not necessarily a master's course, but some sort of conversion course for the purposes of qualifying, maybe in law or in some other field. So, if you know what your intended career is, and it doesn't require you to do a master's degree, and there is a decent opportunity of you making progress in that field, in that career, in that chosen course now, well then I think that's probably worth doing. I would say, on the whole, get out and pursue that career opportunity. That leads to the second scenario, which I think is very commonplace. I won't say it's necessarily a majority situation, but I think it is much more common than when I was at university 4 decades ago. Yes, I'm that old, I'm 60. If your situation is that you've got that initial degree, but you're not sure what you want to do for a long-term career, or alternatively, you do have an idea what you would like to do, but it is extremely competitive to access, that is to say, far more people want to do it than there is room to accommodate, and you are looking for a potential advantage over other candidates contemplating a similar career, my instinct is to say to you, if you can manage it, and there may well be substantial costs involved, you should do the master's degree. You obviously have to take account of finance. Can you get funding? Do you have access to funding? Is funding in any way an issue for you, as it will be for a lot of people? But I don't think you should be worried about what bothered me 40 years ago. I'm trying to learn from my own mistakes for your benefit. Don't be worried about time. I repeat, don't be worried about time. Don't be worried that by doing a master's over a period of a year full-time, or 2 years if you have to do it part-time, you're losing a lot of time. I don't think you should view it in those terms at all. It's quite easy within the prism of your current situation, and if you know of other people who are getting out there and earning a salary and paying a rent or being able to start to buy a property, to think, oh, I'm losing out, I'm suffering, I'm taking a step back, or if not absolutely, relatively to those of my friends who are moving forward straight away. That, I think, is the wrong way to look at it. You should think rather in terms of the medium to long-term advantage that you might secure by having an additional qualification and more time to think about that future career. Not everybody will agree with my advice, but it is my strongly held view. There is also one very big difference between when I was at university 40 years ago and your situations now, and that is, I haven't got the statistics in front of me, but it's a fact. When I was at university, far fewer people did go on to do master's degrees, either because they didn't want to do so or because they didn't have the opportunity. And so it was relatively unusual, certainly a minority choice, for people to go for a master's degree. Today, it is more common, and today it is partly more common, though still a minority choice, partly more common because so many people are going to university. Far more people are going to university at all now across the world than was the case 40 years ago. Certainly in Britain, the figures are very dramatically bigger now. Something like 50% of people leaving school and full-time education in the form of school or college do go on to university, whereas when I was 18, 19, only about 14% went on to do a degree. So if I'm right for your countries as well, that a lot of people are going to do an initial degree, great though it is to have that degree, it doesn't distinguish you that much by comparison with your peers. So if you've got a great career opportunity on offer now, you know what you want to do and you've got an opening, by all means seize it. But if you're not absolutely sure what you want to do, or you think that you could get a real advantage by having a master's qualification on top of your initial degree, I think the case for staying on and doing further study is very strong. So that would be my instinct. There are those two scenarios, and I've tried to depict each of them for you with my thoughts. Either way, a decision you make is relatively low risk. It will either work substantially to your advantage, or it will not make a lot of difference. I don't think it's earth-shattering. I don't think it's absolutely critical either way, but it seems to me that if you're not quite sure what you want to do, there is almost no waste involved in further study, particularly if it is more senior study, that is to say masters after initial degree, or even contemplating doing a PhD. So that's my instinct. I hope you think this advice is valid, whether it's sagacious, whether it is distinctive, whether it is ultimately persuasive to you, I don't know, but it is sincerely believed and heartfelt. I wish you all the best in the choice you have to make, in the career that you choose to follow, and in the life that you go on, the lives that you go on to lead. And I simply order you to give the closest possible thought to this important matter. I hope my thoughts volunteered to you in, I'm afraid, my very distinctively English accent are the only thoughts that I have, and you are the judges of whether they are valuable or not. It has been a pleasure to communicate with you, and I wish you all the best. And to each and every one of you, I say, love your families, cherish your friends, keep well, stay safe, and resolve to continue to be the best versions of yourselves and to fulfill your potential. Onwards and upwards, I say. Order! Order.